Hey everybody, this is Joseph S. Samaniego, the author of the Carolingian Age fantasy book series, and I am here today to talk about Phalanxes and Shield Walls. Now, I was watching 300 over the weekend, and there's a lot of fantasy in that film, but there are some a little bit of historical content, and one of those things is a phalanx. He was talked quite a bit about it. Leonidas kind of gave a brief overview, and what it was is that a phalanx was a group of soldiers, all with hoplite style shields, which would have been from the knee to the shoulder neck region, that would interlock with each other, side by side, overlap, I should say, not really interlock, overlap. And the spears would then be over the shield, sometimes under a shield too, and used as a defensive measure. And this would actually allow you to hold ground a lot easier, especially if everyone stayed in place. And as long as everyone stayed in place, it was very, very effective and very difficult to beat. And in fact, at the Battle of Marathon, they used it to bottleneck, much like the 300 did at the Hot Gates at Thermopylae. They would use it to bottleneck and force the opponent into the wall, basically, which would then become a killing zone. Shield walls are not quite the same. They're similar. So shield walls were used quite a bit by the Norse, by the Anglo-Saxons. We saw them used by the Franks at the Battle of Tours in a square formation by Charles Martel. And the shield wall was smaller shields, a little bit smaller and lighter shields. Still pretty good sized shields though. Still probably about a thigh to your shoulder. But what they would do is that was used more for offense, whereas a phalanx was more defensive. A shield wall is more offensive, meant to push and meant to your weaponry was also typically swords and axes as well as spears, and also to utilize give cover for archers, whereas a phalanx was primarily nothing but spears and also pikes from the back rows that would come over the shoulders. So where have we seen this in fantasy? Obviously we see the phalanx in 300, and in Rise of 300 you saw some. The 300 Rise of Empire, the sequel, you saw some. Vikings have used shield walls. In The Last Kingdom, you see the shield wall very effectively in the Netflix film or Netflix series, Last Kingdom. In my own books, I love incorporating shield walls just because they were very effective. They were very common for the medieval period. And as I said, if they were done right and everyone knew their place, then they were pretty much, in a lot of ways, unbeatable, especially if you had the terrain advantage. So there you have it. A quick little history on phalanxes, which was an excellent military tactic from the Greek hoplites, and then shield walls, which was several centuries, well, quite a few centuries later, Anglo-Saxon, Norse, Frankish attack. Until next time.